Everybody has a different story. I know lots of people who grew up with hurt and brokenness and pain. Their families were really messed up, and that's not my story. I had a mom and a dad who loved me and my brother and sister. They loved each other, they loved Jesus, and they taught us about Jesus, and that provided an incredible amount of security growing up. But regardless of where our story starts, we're still given a decision and a choice. My story is a story of pursuit. In our lives, we pursue lots of things: security, money, love, but we're all trying to fill an emptiness inside. I'm not sure why the hole was there for me, but I know what I chose to fill it with. About the time that I turned 17, there began to be a lot of conflict between my parents and I. And I made a choice to leave, and I ran. And I surrounded myself with friends who encouraged me to continue running. When I tried drinking for the first time, it was a little bit fun, a little bit scary. Started in my 20s, moved into my 30s. The need to medicate my pain increased. I began using drugs, and things began to spiral out of control. The thing was, I never looked for a solution. I always looked for another Band-Aid to medicate the pain. And the thing was, the problem's in here and in here. I got married, we had children, and I still was not capable of being in a relationship. Things got worse. We got divorced. Shortly after that, social services showed up at my home, escorted by the police, to remove my children from my care. And you would think as a mom that I would have found my surrender there and done whatever I needed to do to be a good mother to my children. But that's not how I thought. I thought, this is freedom. Now I can do whatever I want to do without the responsibility of caring for my kids. And in that time, the bar kept getting lower and lower about what I was willing to do to get what I thought I wanted. And I found myself homeless and in dangerous, degrading, awful circumstances. I remember sitting in a car, alone in a parking lot, hurting, and it felt like it was a physical pain, and I feel like what I was experiencing was just a spiritual separation from Jesus. So like I've got this fear and desperation to do something different. And man, I'm grateful for the gift of desperation, because out of that desperation, I found willingness to quit running. God is really cool and works in some crazy ways. I was walking out of a 12-step meeting and ran into my family. And the last time that we had seen one another, it had not ended well. And I can't remember what we said, or the words that were spoken, but I do remember what I felt. And I felt like I was in the process of being home. And I knew that I was being held and loved. And it's just really hard to describe that feeling, but I know that I hadn't experienced it in a really long time. Jesus actually told a story in the Bible that's just like mine. It's about a son who ran away and messed everything up. But finally, he hit bottom, came to his senses, and made a plan to go back home. And he had this whole speech put together about how he had made mistakes and about how sorry he was. But while he was still a long way from home, his father saw him coming and ran hard for him, to embrace him and to welcome him home. And that's who Jesus is. He came to save us. He saved me when he took my sins on the cross, and he's saving me today. I'm not strung out. I'm not homeless. I get to be a mother to my children. I get to have relationships with people, and I get to love people back the way that Jesus loves me. All of our stories are different, but maybe not so much. If we aren't submitting, we're pursuing what we want. We're running, and all the while, Jesus is pursuing us. That's who he is, and sometimes the changes are immediate, and sometimes they're gradual. But he's always in pursuit. All I have to do is quit running and believe.